You know what's wild? The difference between someone who stays poor and someone who becomes wealthy has almost nothing to do with how much money they have right now. It's about how they think when they have nothing. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what separates the two, and trust me, it's way simpler than you think. Hey, it's your favorite little investor, the investing ant. And before we dive in, let me tell you something that might blow your mind. I've studied wealthy people. I've watched broke people become rich, and I've seen rich people go broke and bounce right back. And here's what I discovered. Rich people think differently even when their bank account says zero. They see the world through a completely different lens. And the best part? You can start thinking this way today. Right now, no money required. So let's talk about it. Let us break down how the wealthy operate when they at rock bottom, because understanding this is your first step to joining them. First thing you need to know, rich people see problems as opportunities. Poor people see problems as roadblocks. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're in the colony, and suddenly there's a huge boulder blocking the path to the food source. Now, some ants will look at that boulder and say, well, that's it. We're done. No food for us. But the wealthy ant, she looks at that same boulder and thinks, okay, how do we get around this? Over it, under it, can we break it down? Can we create a new path that's even better than the old one? See the difference? Same situation, completely different mindset. When rich people are broke, they don't panic about the obstacle. They get curious about the solution. They ask better questions. Instead of why is this happening to me? They ask what can I learn from this? How can I use this? What opportunity is hiding in this challenge? It's like when a tunnel in our Formiguero collapses. We don't abandon the whole colony. We rebuild. We reinforce. We make it stronger than before. That's the wealthy mindset. Always building, even when it looks like everything's falling apart. Here's the second thing, and this one's huge. Rich people invest in themselves first, even when they're broke, especially when they're broke. They know that their most valuable asset isn't their car, their house, or their stock portfolio. It's their mind. It's their skills. It's their ability to create value in the world. So what do they do when money's tight? They read. They learn. They practice. They grow. They carry those grains of knowledge back to the colony, one by one, building something that nobody can ever take away from them. I see so many people say, I'll start learning when I have money for that course, or I'll work on myself when things calm down. But that's backwards. Rich people know that investing in yourself is what creates the money. It's what creates the opportunities. It's what builds the foundation. You don't wait for the perfect moment to strengthen yourself. You strengthen yourself to create the perfect moment, grain by grain, skill by skill, day by day. And here's where it gets really interesting. Rich people understand delayed gratification in a way that most people just don't. When they're broke, they're not thinking about what they can buy tomorrow. They're thinking about what they're building for next year. For 5 years from now, for a decade from now. They plant seeds even when they're hungry, because they know those seeds will become trees that feed them forever. Think about how we ants operate. We don't eat all the food we find in one day. We carry it back. We store it. We prepare. We sacrifice a little bit now for massive security later. And that's exactly what wealthy people do with their resources, whether it's money, time, or energy. They ask themselves, will this decision make my future self proud? Or am I just making my present self comfortable? Big difference. Poor mindset says, I deserve to treat myself now because life is hard. Rich mindset says, I deserve to build something great because life is short. Both are true, by the way. Life is hard and short, but one approach keeps you stuck and the other sets you free. You get to choose which one you believe. Now here's something that might surprise you. Rich people, even when they're broke, surround themselves with other ambitious, growth-minded people. They protect their environment like it's the most valuable thing they own, because it is. You know how in the colony, we all move in the same direction. We all carry, we all build, we all contribute. We don't let lazy ants slow down the whole operation. We don't let negative ants poison the morale. We maintain standards. We maintain culture. Wealthy people do the same thing. They're very careful about who they spend time with, who they listen to, who influences their thoughts, because they know that your network determines your net worth. Your circle shapes your mindset. Your friends influence your financial future more than almost anything else. So even when they're broke, they're connecting with people who think bigger, dream bigger, and are actively building something. They're not hanging around the complainers and the dream killers. They're in rooms where people are solving problems and creating opportunities. If this is resonating with you, drop a little ant emoji in the comments and let's grow this colony together. because I want you to really hear this next part. Rich people take responsibility for everything, and I mean everything. When they're broke, they don't blame the economy, their parents, their boss, their circumstances, or bad luck. They look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm here. This is my reality. What am I going to do about it? That's power. That's freedom. That's how you change your life. See, blaming feels good in the moment. It takes the pressure off. It makes you the victim. But here's the problem. Victims don't have power. Victims can't change anything because nothing is their fault. But the moment you take responsibility, even for things that aren't fair, even for things you didn't cause, that's when you take back control. That's when you become the architect of your own life instead of just a passenger. Rich people know this. So when something goes wrong, they don't waste energy complaining. They say, all right, what's my next move? How do I adapt? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to become to handle this? They treat life like a game they're determined to win, not a punishment they have to endure. And that shift, right there, changes everything. Another thing wealthy people do differently, they think in terms of value creation, not just money extraction. When they're broke, they're not asking, how can I get money? They're asking, how can I help people? What problem can I solve? What value can I bring to the world? Because they understand that money is just a side effect of creating value. It's the reward you get for serving others, for making life better, for solving real problems. This is huge. Most people have it backwards. They think I need money so I can be happy, or I need money so I can start my business, or I need money so I can help people. But rich people flip it. They start helping immediately. They start creating immediately. They start solving problems immediately, and the money follows. Not always quickly, not always easily, but it follows. In the colony, we don't wait until we have a full stockpile to start contributing. We start carrying from day one. The baby ants carry tiny grains, the experienced ants carry bigger loads, but everybody's contributing, everybody's creating value. And that's how the whole colony prospers. That's how we survive the winters and the droughts and the challenges. We all create value, and we all benefit from that value. Rich people get this. They understand that wealth is a byproduct of contribution. Here's another critical thing. Rich people focus on income growth, not just expense cutting. When they're broke, yes, they're disciplined with their spending, but they're not obsessed with it. They're not sitting around clipping coupons and stressing about every dollar. They're thinking, how can I earn more? How can I increase my value in the marketplace? How can I build multiple income streams? They play offense, not just defense. It's like if our colony only focused on using less food instead of finding more food sources. We'd survive, maybe, but we'd never thrive. We'd never grow. We'd never expand the Formiguero. Rich people think about expansion. They think about growth. They think about creating more, not just consuming less. Both matter, but one is much more powerful than the other. And here's something really beautiful. Rich people are generous even when they're broke. They tip, they help, they give, they share knowledge. They open doors for others. Why? Because they know that abundance is a mindset, not a bank balance. They know that generosity creates a flow of energy that comes back multiplied. They understand that you can't receive with a closed fist. You have to give first. You have to open your hands. You have to trust that there's more coming. This doesn't mean being reckless or irresponsible. It means operating from a place of faith instead of fear. It means believing that the universe rewards those who add value, those who help others, those who show up with open hearts. And honestly, that belief alone changes how you move through the world. It changes your energy. It changes how people respond to you. It changes everything. One more thing, and this might be the most important. Rich people believe they deserve wealth. Deep down, at their core, they believe it's possible for them. They don't see wealth as something for other people. They don't see success as something reserved for the lucky or the connected or the special. They see it as something they can build, something they can earn, something they can create. And that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Poor people, even if they work hard, often have a little voice inside that says, who am I to be wealthy? Who am I to be successful? That's not for people like me. And that voice sabotages everything. It creates doubt. It creates hesitation. It creates self-sabotage. But rich people silence that voice. They replace it with, why not me? If they can do it, I can do it. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to grow. I'm worthy of success. And here's the truth. You are worthy. You absolutely are. Your background doesn't matter. Your current situation doesn't matter. What matters is the decision you make today. What matters is the mindset you choose right now. What matters is whether you're willing to think like someone who's building wealth, even if you're starting from zero. So let's bring this home. How do rich people think when they're broke? They see opportunities, not obstacles. They invest in themselves first. They embrace delayed gratification. They protect their environment. They take full responsibility. They create value before they extract money. They focus on earning more, not just spending less. They're generous with what they have, and they believe deeply that wealth is possible for them. That's it. That's the blueprint. And the beautiful thing, you don't need money to start thinking this way. You just need to decide. You just need to commit. You just need to take that first small step, carry that first grain, make that first choice. Because every massive Formiguero starts with a single ant carrying a single grain. You can do this. You really can. It's easier than you think. Not because it's effortless, but because it's simple. The principles are clear. The path is proven. And thousands of people just like you have walked it successfully. The only question is, are you ready to join them? If you found value in this today, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me which mindset shift hit you the hardest. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got so much more to build together. And share this with one person who needs to hear it. Just one. Because that's how colonies grow. That's how movements start. One generous act at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for choosing growth over comfort, faith over fear, and action over excuses. You're already thinking differently just by being here. And that's how it starts. That's how everything changes. Because here, in our colony, every small step counts, and it's easier than you think.